Hey, yeah, what's up? This Disciple Marshall Occurrence Rain back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-telepathy all day, anti-America all day, and everybody with them, yeah. So, in the other videos, I already told you it's gonna be a campaign. This campaign is about 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children. That's 40. I'm making a literal campaign. I'm sending out blasts, email comments, even emails. Yeah, uh, I've emailed the people. Christians don't judge me. I emailed the Hell's Angels. They need to know the guardians of children, the biker groups. I let them know that in 40 states, America allows adults to have sex with children. The Hell's Angels need to know that because I know those are the type of guys, the stand-up guys. Even though they may live their lifestyle the way they live, they care about the children when it really like on some real stuff, on some real tangible stuff, not the stuff that you think, not hunches, not telepathy. I'm talking about 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children. I'm not talking about no thoughts that don't manifest into real time. I'm talking about real laws. And I think even Hell's Angels, Guardian of Children, obviously the Guardian of Children, the motorcycle gang, motorcycle club, they need to know about that. So I emailed them, I email blast them. I've I leave comments every day about the 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children. It's a real campaign, and it's not gonna stop. And here's the thing: it's not like uh, unlike all the other wars that people don't care about. Unfortunately, like race, you know, I've been talking about, also Martin Luther King Jr. mother being shot and killed in church. Some people care about it, some people don't. Also Martin Luther King, the American government settling out of court in 1999 for conspiring against Martin Luther King Jr., only giving his family $100. This kind of information I've been putting out, and some people, they hear it and, but with this particular information about 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children, everyone agrees that America does not agree with this as a community. As a community. I don't care nothing about weirdos. We ain't talking about weirdos who actually wind up doing these things. We talking about wholesome American people. They do not agree with adults having sex with children. They do not agree that an adult and a child, no matter what age the child is, they should not be having sex with someone that is 18. Okay? The American community agrees on this. By culture, by information, by the everything that they put out. You can look at all the intellectual property of American culture, and you can see that they agree with me, which means we're not even a part of the American government. The American government is its own country. I know it's unique, and you don't realize it, but you're not a part of that government, that government. It's its own country, and this is the information that we all will agree on that separates us from the American system. How can you be a part of the American system not agreeing with children having sex in 40 states in America? You can't be a part of it. You can't be a part of it anymore. And for Christians, the Bible says, how can two walk together unless they agree? So for Christians, you definitely can't be a part of the American government because you do not agree with the American government. And the Bible says, how can two walk together, basically strive down the path of life together unless they agree? They can't do it because basically it's going to be confusion on that path. And that's where you have to part ways. Okay? So that's for Christians. For the rest of you, all of you agree about children, protecting children's innocence as long as we can. That's what we all agree about. We all agree about that. So you don't agree with the American government allowing adult penis to go into children's vagina. You don't agree with that. Those are real actions that's taking place, by the way. That's real. That's real laws that's allowed, that a literal adult will not catch a charge and they're able to go be with children vagina in 40 states in America. That separates the good, wholesome people in this community called America from this country called America, the American government. That's its own country. They live good, they eat good, they're fat good, and they live by their own laws, laws that you don't live by. In other words, they live by laws that you don't agree with. You don't agree with 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children. So you're separate by perspective with the most important thing to you. What's more important than your children? Your money and not your money? Look at your value system. Look at your value system. What's more important? Your money, your career, even other loved ones come secondary to your own children who you're supposed to be protecting. So the most primary, the most prioritized dynamic is which is obviously your children. You don't agree with America as a country, as you don't agree with their laws. You don't agree with them. The thing that you prioritize the most, your children, you don't agree with the American government and community concerning the thing that you prioritize the most, which are your children. That's what this is all about for a lot of you family people. You get out and work, you get out and do everything, and to find out that your country that is in complete opposition, I would say, yeah, you would say they're going in the opposite direction of your perspective, basically. Concerning the very thing that you get up and work and get up out and go out here and work for, how can you be with people how can you be with a country like that, knowing that they don't protect the children's innocence? They don't protect your children's innocence. You try to protect your children's innocence up until 25 if you can. But they allow your children, even under the age of 18, to be with adults. You get up and work for those children. You get up and do whatever you got to do for those children. And there are laws in the government that you work for that allows them to have sex with adults. How can you get it? How can you agree with that community? How can you agree with that system? Who would you sit down and write laws that allow adults to have sex with children? Would you sit down and write laws like these politicians that allow adults to have sex with children? You couldn't bring yourself to do it. You couldn't bring yourself to do it, could you? You could not bring yourself to write laws in 40 states that allow adults to have sex with children. So how are you united with the American government then? How are you united with the American government then? With the most important thing, which I've described, listen closely. You getting the information, just take it in. The most important thing in your in your life is your children, and the government that you're under doesn't agree. You and them don't agree with each other concerning children and concerning protecting the innocence of children when they allow children to have sex in 40 states with adults. How can you be in agreement with that? You need to boycott. That's what you need to do. Boycott as much as you can. Boycott everything. Boycott voting. Boycott. Why would you vote for a system that allows 40 states to allow adults to have sex with children? Why would you vote in a country that allows 40 states that 40 states allows adults to have sex with children? Why would you vote for that? All of them know it. You know they know it. So why would you vote for that? So you don't need to vote. Boycott voting. Boycott all of this, and do as minimum as you can to as far as dealing with this country. Okay? All you people that got money, all you people that got a brain to think, you need to start making your own businesses that are outside of the American government, outside of the American and people that's united with the American government at all costs, because there are some people that's just, they don't care about your children. They don't care about the well-being of nothing. America is their God. The American government is their God. America can do no wrong, in other words. So you need to separate your businesses from them as well. You need to separate yourself from them too as well. Because at the end of the day, we know how this country began. When you got stuff that's going on in Russia, Russia didn't go and invade the land and kill indigenous people in the land. Russia didn't do that. Russia also didn't enslave Africans in their country. So maybe Russia has just been this great, good country in disguise. Maybe so. Maybe they've been this good country all along, because what we've been experiencing here all along is racism, slavery, and genocides. And maybe Russia has been a good country all along. Hey, I don't agree with their whole government system. Of course we're not going to agree. Of course I'm not going to agree with all of that. But as far as how they treated humanity, America comes America takes the cake from everybody. Russia, you don't even hear what really Russia did to anybody, to any particular type of people, human-wise. I mean, I'm sure there are things that happen, all kinds of things that happen with the system and the people. I'm sure it's in any country. It's humanity. That's humanity. I'm talking about blatant, just destruction of a people like America. No one has done it like them. They came here, destroyed the Native American and indigenous people here. Then they came and enslaved another type of people. Not even the same people. Two different races. They come and enslave the Africans after they killed the Native Americans. Russia ain't done nothing like that. Two different ethnicities. Two different ethnicities on one land, blood of two different ethnicities on one land. Russia don't have two different ethnicities, blood on their land like America do. Come on now. And look at it. This ain't even been a long time. It's one thing to try to pick apart a country and be like, well, 1,000 years ago this happened with this race, and 1,000 years ago this happened with this race. We're talking about less than 1,000 years altogether with America destroying the Native Americans' land and enslaving Africans here. Less than 1,000 years. Less than 1,000 years. While you're trying to go to other country, trying to look over a timeline of 1,000,000 years. So you can have a place to compare. It ain't no place to compare to the foolishness and craziness that they've done here. And they sitting up acting like, I don't even know why Joe Biden is involved with that situation with Ukraine. What do he got to do with that? Let's keep it a buck. What do he got to do with that? He ain't got nothing. We ain't heard nothing before. All of a sudden, he wants to, not too long ago, Putin was like talking to the guy. All of a sudden, now you want to stand up. No, I think you're taking advantage of the opportunity to fight against Russia. That's my personal opinion. I think you're taking advantage because people like me, I like Russia. And so you want to fight Russia, and you're not fighting them for no apparent reason. As far as your interest goes, there's no reason for you to fight them. Yeah, a lot of black people are tired of getting picked on. We tired of getting played with, man. So I'm with Russia. That's not against the law, by the way, for the FBI and CIA and police. For me to have alliance with Russia is not illegal. Okay, I don't have a government job, so like Edward Snowden did, but yeah, that's not illegal. So my alliance is not even with America. I tell you like it is. What you gonna do about it? After you have mistreated Native Americans, African Americans, Asian Americans now, Next is probably gonna be Mexicans. It's too many of them. It's too many Mexicans here. Sooner or later, you're gonna do something. You have proven with every ethnicity, you have proven to anger and arouse the anger and hate of every ethnicity that comes here. That's major. That's a major ethnicity. Eventually, they're gonna do something to anger the Mexican Americans. Eventually. They don't love nobody. You gotta understand that. You gotta get that. They don't love you. All you Mexicans, enjoy it while you can. Because they don't love you, buddy. It's sooner or later, you know what I'm saying? This is a track record. This is not a matter of opinion. This is the track record. You got the Native Americans, which basically that's what a lot of Mexicans, they got indigenous blood in them. They messed over Native Americans, innocent as they were. They more innocent than the Mexicans. The Native Americans were way more innocent than the Mexicans. Docile too, more docile probably too. Well, they warriors, but as far as how they interacted with white Americans, I would say the explorers, the settlers who came over here, they were probably more docile towards them than even the Mexicans. They messed over the Native Americans. They came and they enslaved the African Americans. So yeah, I'm not like, it's convenient for, people to say forget and forgive, but they renege on their nature towards African Americans and indigenous people. They renege on how they treat people when they wind up shooting innocent people out in the streets. You talk about cops, I say white people. You say police, I say white people. That's what I say. You say cops are shooting these people? No, I don't say that. I say white people are shooting these people. Because I conclude, when I look at it, a man that's competent in mind, this is the reason why they're getting shot. Because it's a white man that's doing it. It's a white woman even the white women, Dwayne Wright, that was a white woman that did that. Who knows? They probably getting off on it. They probably think it's a badge of honor. Who knows? But one thing we can conclude is more times than not, it's a white person that's doing these killings. So I gotta go with the obvious. That's the obvious. Because they take off that uniform and they're off duty and guess what? They're still white. You're only a cop when you're on the job. Basically, technically. Okay? And so why should I feel sorry? Why should I voucher for people that, when this condition comes? People say get back to normal. You know what's back to normal for people that's like me, that look like me? You know what's back to normal? As far as COVID-19 and all this, you know what's back to normal? Shot by the police, profiled by the military, watched by National Guard, like we don't know no better. Watched by all these agencies. That's what happens to black people. That's what happened to non-white people. If a white person would have been in my shoes, they would have been left. That's why this is a low-key race war. This is a race war. If it was a white person, a white man in my position, and you had no tangible operations, this would have been over. You don't have any tangible operations. I'm gonna do a video on that too. If you can't insult my intelligence. If you don't have tangible operations, anybody can sit up and hate the government, especially these days. Anybody can sit up and hate you for things that you do. That's not room to be around playing around somebody's life. I'm sorry. There's many of us. Unfortunately, and it's nothing you can do. We have freedom of speech. I can say what I want. And there's nothing you can do about it. That's freedom of speech. Yeah, you don't know how deep that goes, do you? Freedom of speech is freedom of whatever I want to say. Okay? Which obviously comes from the way I feel and what I believe in. It's freedom to articulate what I believe in and how I feel. It's freedom to articulate that. which means it's not a problem to feel those ways. It's not a problem to think that way. Based on freedom of speech, if I'm able to articulate what I feel, if I'm able to articulate what I think, then it's no crime to feel and think those ways. So all that being said, if you don't have any physical crime, a physical operation, physical crime too. If you don't have any physical operations, tangible operations, you got to kick rocks. And if you don't kick rocks, me as a prophet, I'm going to curse each and every one of you. I'm sorry. I'm not playing any games. Simple as that. I'm not playing games. Sorry, you was under the impression that I was. I'm not. So I'm cursing everything out there. You can think it's a game if you want to. You can act like I don't know. But I also know you have COVID-19. I also know you have Omicron in your country. I also know everything is going haywire all of a sudden. I also smell blood. That's what I also know. While you're riding around thinking you're doing something and you have a show going, the show is Omicron. The show is COVID-19. The show is people killing their own country kids. The show is police getting their head blown off. That's the show. That's the show, buddy. While you trying to make up a show along with that, that's the real show that's going on. People killing their own children. That's the real show. While you think you got some little goofy McDonald's contest going on, you might as well have the McDonald's logo on your car, like a race car driver. You might as well have the McDonald's logo on the car. It's just as corny as a McDonald's contest playing with a man like me. And it's just as serious as the foolishness that you got going on in your country where your police getting their head blowed off. So on your behalf, it's just corny as you are, it's just as corny as a McDonald's contest. And playing with me is just as serious as COVID, just as serious as Omicron. I'm not one of these little scruffy, dusty guys that you've been looking at and watching around here. I've been like this for a very long time, buddy. And that's what you need to know. I got a track record and a rank that you don't want to challenge, buddy. But you seem to want to play chicken and you seem to want to get attention. And you're not going to get any fame off of this. You're not going to get any name. We're going to destroy you in obscurity. That's what's going to happen. And how are we going to do that? Trusting in God, allowing God to destroy each and every enemy. That's not a tangible operation, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. When somebody tell you God's going to destroy you, when somebody tell you that God's judgment is coming upon you, that's not a tangible operation as far as I'm concerned. And there's some people that say that and it means nothing. And there's some people like me, I say it and it means it stops everything. Look, I would never be perfect. So while I'm imperfect and while God's people is always going to be imperfect, God is still doing what he got to do. While you sitting up waiting for perfection for me, it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. I don't care what I do in this room. I don't care how I do it in this room. I'm never going to be perfect. So what does that tell you, buddy? God is going to be still doing what he do on my behalf in spite of my imperfection. Paul said, why do I do the things I don't want to do? And the things I don't want to do, I do. He said, nevertheless, it's not me, but it's sin in me. That's what Paul said. So that's for all you little people to say, well, it ain't going to work because he ain't doing this right. Buddy, Paul said, made it clear. And that's one of God's best. You can't play me, buddy. You're on the road to destruction. And if anybody jump, God will take care of you quicker. You could die today. That's what you want to do. Nobody playing with you, buddy. You could die today. You think you're close, but you're a galaxy away. You ain't nowhere near me. You ain't nowhere near this dimension in this room. You think so because you are limited to your human capability of understanding things. Anybody jump, they die. That's the understanding of things in this situation. Anybody jump, they die. Period. You can jump around. You can get women to dance with hula hoops. You can have people spitting fire out their mouth outside, as long as they don't come over that threshold. That's all I'm saying. You can have a whole different galaxy. You can have a whole parade out there, long as they understand what's going on in here, and the limitation and the boundaries, the tangible boundaries. You can do whatever you want to do, as long as you understand that. You're gonna be A-OK. You can yell, you can hoop and holler out there, as long as you know. Use common sense, you know what time it is. Concerning me, as long as you know you can't cross no boundaries, you'll be good. You'll be A-OK until the day you already got to go anyway. Cause they don't got my bag, you know. I can't speak for anybody else. My personal journey in itself, my footsteps in itself, deserves a bag. Not connected to anyone, not connected to anything else. Only me and God. It's worthy of a bag. So why would I connect a million and hundreds of millions of people to my bag? You ain't suffer with me. I'm alone in this situation. I've been alone in this situation. And you think I'm gonna let somebody pull up and co-partner with my bag? And that's all you co-partner with? God has been my protection the whole time. Where were you 2-3 years ago? We don't need you now. It's almost over now. I'm trying to collect that bag, buddy.